Hello, everybody. Here we are with an amazing musician with a long career behind. So we are pleased to welcome Dave Hans. Hi, Dave. How you
Hi,
doing?
I'm doing good. It's a little warm today in Ohio for the winter, so nice day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. We are honored to have you today. These
I'm also
days,
honored to be on Radio Caviar, so thank you.
thank you to you. These days, you were performing in the musical The Wedding Singer. How was the
Yep.
experience?
That was a really challenging experience for me because I don't read music very well. So I wanted to continue my guitar playing. I'm always trying to get better, and that was an opportunity for a rock-based, based on an Adam Sandler movie. It was a rock-based musical at the school that I work at. I said, okay, I'll give it a try, and it turned out really well. It really did, and there was 14 people in the cast. The cast was absolutely amazing. All of them had multiple parts. The other musicians in the band were fantastic. There were people from the musical all the time. So when I made a couple little mistakes with my reading, they knew that that was going on, but we covered each other, just like professional musicians did. Everybody loved the show.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
So it was a wonderful experience. Let's start by talking about the beginning of everything. Do you remember in your first memory, when did you fall in love with music?
Um, I come from a musical family. So when I was 4 years old, I was in the recording studio. My grandfather had a big band. Both of my grandfathers did. And he had a recording studio, a basic one back in the 60s that was a two-track, it was a four-track recording studio, kind of similar to what the Beatles had on Sgt. Pepper, but of course a lot lower level. And he interviewed me for my fourth birthday, which is on one of our songs. He died of cancer when I was 5. So he would practice with his big band, and we would sit in the back room, and I would be a little kid just in front of the bass drum. As they're going that way. My other grandfather was a drummer. My grandmother was a piano player. My grandfather that died was a piano player in the big bands. And both of them, all of them, all the grandfathers were in World War II. When they came back, they were probably going to be professional musicians before the war, but when they came back from the war, they started a family and did their jobs and that type of thing and did music on the side. My mom was in rock bands growing up. She was in the 19th Amendment, one of the proto-punk bands in the early 70s. So I was always around music, and I wasn't very good at sports in school. Music was the thing and it was traditionally guitar music. So I come from a family of piano players, and I'm the one that played the guitar. So I just fell in love with Ritchie Blackmore and Kiss and some of the stuff when I was real little. And I'm still play a Ritchie Blackmore Angle amp. Been doing that for 20 years. I have Ritchie Blackmore's signature guitar, that type of stuff. I'm a big fan of Ritchie. We're opening up for Graham Bonnet, with one of the singers from Rainbow, on March 22nd for my birthday. Pretty excited with that. Marco Mendoza from Whitesnake is also on the bill. So it's Tinfoil and then those two bands in Detroit. So that's kind of the history of it. Started really getting my voice, a vocal thing in 8th grade. Somebody asked, we had a school assembly. Somebody asked if anybody wanted to come up and sing Let It Be by the Beatles with the singer that was up there. I said, sure. And I was just supposed to sing the Let It Be part. I knew all the words. So I said, hey, do you mind if I just take the song? And after that, it was such a great experience. I had other students at school that really didn't like me or know me too well would say, hey, I remember one girl saying, I don't really like you, but I love your voice. So it was after that, it just started to get into bands and just getting myself out there. I was always a writer though, so that makes me a little bit different. Instead of just playing guitar, I write songs. I've been writing since 3rd grade. Um, it's a different perspective than some of the other guitar players that I know, because when I play the guitar, it goes along with the lyrics. It goes along with the feeling of the song. Not that other guitar players don't do that, they do. But in order for me to really be comfortable playing, I have to know what the song's about. I need to know the story. I need because I just can't go in there and play like really fast licks or something over a sad song. And it kind of makes me unique.
Wow. It's really fantastic, Dave.
Yeah. Now we are going to focus on Tinfoil. a rock band with a long history where you are also a member and co-founder. What's the story behind of the name?
The name was, it wasn't the name that we picked, kind of like the Kinks. If you follow Ray Davies and Dave Davies, they don't like the name the Kinks. Tinfoil's not bad. I like the name. But what actually was going on, I'm from Ohio. The whole band's from Ohio. Thomas Alva Edison, the inventor, was born in a town like less than a half hour from up here. We knew that we were writers. We weren't going to go out and play covers and bars and that type of thing. We were going to record a lot. The very first recording Thomas Alva Edison did, if you know the story, on the very first recorder was on a piece of tinfoil. And he sang Mary Had a Little Lamb, and that was the very first thing that happened on that. I live relatively close to Michigan, so we went up about in the 90s, and we actually got to record on Edison's machine with a piece of tinfoil. We recorded Tinfoil Rocks, because you can't record a very long thing on there. But we actually got to do that. So that's the history of the name. We originally wanted the name, and it was my idea, I think. I wanted the opiate for the people, because it's a famous philosopher that said religion is the opiate for people. We wanted to take a twist on it and say music is the opiate for the people. And that was our name when we went into the studio for the very first time. And unfortunately for us, or fortunately, the producer that was producing us said, "Hey, you guys can't use that name." It's like, "Why not?" And he pulled a CD off the shelf and said, "There's already a band called Opiate." And it's like, "Oh, Opiate for the Masses is already taken." So then we were in a kind of a funk trying to come up with the new name. That we put all of our ideas into a big hat, and Tinfoil was the one name that when all three original members pulled it out, none of us hated it. So that's where we came up with it. It's worked. We've got it trademarked now, and we've got all our releases on all over the world. So
yeah. And Dave, over the years, what have been the key moments in the evolution of your song?
Of the single that you got, or just my songwriting?
Just my song ready.
Okay. Right before Tinfoil, I was really into metal music. It was the late 80s. Metal music was hot when I was growing up in high school. Van Halen was, one of the reasons I picked up guitar, that type of stuff. But I can't sing. I'm a good singer, but I'm not a high singer. Robert Plant is a stretch for me, and some of the 80s music that the voice is way up high and I'm a lower singer. So when I first tried to do metal, I wasn't a very good singer. Nobody wanted me to sing because I couldn't sing the notes. But when I heard Nirvana, then all of a sudden it's like, that guy's got a voice that I can really nail. And that style of music came in, and that's when we formed Tinfoil, 1991. Really early on, got to play the same stages as Nirvana. We just went back to the Blind Pig where Nirvana got their big start up in Ann Arbor. We played a show there last month. It's 25 years after we played it the last time. It was really cool. But as that style of music came on, I started playing more alternative music. I hooked up with other co-founder Cher, who's been in the band with me the whole time. And she was definitely from a totally different background from me. She didn't like metal music at all. She liked Patti Smith and new wave and alternative, and introduced me to a band called Sonic Youth, which a lot of alternative bands at the time were playing like real basic chords, but Sonic Youth was doing something on guitar that I've never heard anybody else do. They tune their guitars to weird tunings and do all kinds of cool things with the guitar. I said, well, wait a sec. I like that. I like the, Nirvana stuff. I like this. So we started it out and started going that way. As time has progressed, our styles, we still do some alternative songs, but as songwriters, sometimes the song doesn't call for alternative. Sometimes it calls, I write a metal song. And that's the nice thing about being in Tinfoil, is that we're able to do all kinds of music, share some, I remember one of our guitar players said, well, I want to do a big band style song. And we're all in there going, what are we going to do with a big band style song? And it turned out to Cher took it around and turned it into Death, where it's a big band song where everybody's dancing and it's actually Death singing the song. And we did it, an alternative version. There's no horns or anything in that particular one. Now, if we did that type of song, why have the ability to bring in lots of people and that type of thing? We could do something fun like that. But we're always, based in rock. Sometimes it's acoustic rock. Sometimes it's alternative rock. Sometimes it's experimental. Sometimes it's hard rock. Whatever the song calls for. And that's what keeps it fun. That's why I keep doing it. You know, I'm always growing. I'm not happy with my guitar playing at any time. I'm not happy with my singing at any time. You know, the recordings come out and you do the best you can. And then we write so many songs that we just go on to the next one. It's like you hear something 10, 15 years later and like, I could sing that better now. But the danger is going back in time and getting stuck redoing your old songs all the time because we have so many new ones. So we don't do a lot of going back, but every once in a while we do.
And and where do you find inspiration to create your music?
To write the music, it comes from all kinds of different things. I have an excellent co-writer with Cher. She was a better songwriter when I first started than I was. I was I was 19 when Tinfoil started, pretty young, and do basic like, you know, there's a girl down the street, I want to give her a kiss type songs, you know. And Cher was not that. She's got a poetry background. So what we did decide very early on, which is something that we've continued, is that we wanted to create very exciting music that is with very deep or meaningful lyrics that go along with it. So you're not going to hear us do a song like, hey, you're walking down the street, I want to ask you out. You're going to hear songs like Lost in Translation, which is the latest one with the video, where that song is all about a moment in time where two people meet and kind of like a short story inside of the song. Not all of the songs are like that. Obviously, sometimes you just rock out and do some things, but a lot of our songs have deeper meanings. I get an inspiration all the time if I watch a movie. Sometimes I've got a new song that we're recording right now that was based on Orange is the New Black. One of the minor characters is a girl that believes that she's got this made-up boyfriend and husband in her head. So it's called Lorena's, it's but written about Lorena. And it's like, what would happen if she wrote a song? So I wrote the song in her style. Cher does a lot of book writing. So if you're familiar with Led Zeppelin's catalog, which most people are, Led Zeppelin is somebody that this band kind of, everybody likes Led Zeppelin. It's one of the bands that all of us like. But Led Zeppelin used to write songs when they were around about my favorite author, J.R.R. Tolkien, and the Lord of the Rings. So we have 4 or 5 songs that we've written about Lord of the Rings over the years. And our new single is going to drop on March 1st. It's a song called Bone Doll, which is based on the Bone Doll children's fantasy series by Lynn Fleming. So we do some things like that where I'll watch a movie like The 13th Floor is a sci-fi movie from about 20 years ago. And when I got done with the movie, I said, well, what an interesting concept, because the people, I won't ruin a 13-year-old movie for you, but the kind of premise is that these people are inside of a computer and they're not actually real people, but they think they are. And then one guy gets out and sees that type of thing. So I wrote a song called Someone Else's Girl, because his real girlfriend they're all based on real people that are outside. And it's like, wow, what an interesting concept. How can I turn that into things? And then a lot of times, some of the songs, in order to be relatable, I will switch them to be like about relationships, because a lot of people, you know, so sometimes a song won't start out being a love song or have anything to do with relationships. And I just take it and say, all right, we need a chorus that people can relate to. How can we fit a relationship, or how can we fit in an emotion or a song, that type of thing. Another thing I do is I'm always looking and jotting down ideas, just like writers do. Sometimes I'll do little challenges like Lost in Translation was a challenge. What would happen if you had a whole lifetime in one little encounter, and then you just had that 1 minute to describe an entire life? And that was just kind of like an idea I had, and I went for it. So,
by the way, you mentioned your new single, Lost in Translation. How did the audience react?
all right. So that was I decided I was I was at a work conference. So I go to Salt Lake City for a couple weeks every year. I'm a day job as a teacher, so I go and grade papers in Salt Lake City. It's really nice though, because my life here is so busy, because my band, every night we're recording, we're doing stuff. So in Salt Lake City, I don't have that at night. So it's kind of like a stress-free thing, and it frees me up to do more writing. So that one, I was on the plane. I don't even know if you were watching whatever movie was on the plane trying to do the, pass the time. And I kind of came up with this idea of like, what would it happen? What would happen if I did have just one moment and you had you tried to describe everything about a person's life in that one little moment. And then when I got to Salt Lake City, it was, there was a person there that, I just walked up and we we're both doing the same job, didn't know each other, sat down and had lunch. And that was where the conversation came in. And she said all this stuff about her. I started talking and then she got totally disinterested and just walked out. And I said, wow, okay. So that kind of struck me. It's like, there's the one moment right there. That whole moment can be taken in and turned into a song. And of course, like I said, I took the chorus, had no real thing at all. When I got home, I had these great verses and I needed a chorus. And I said, well, what's going on here? What else could be going on in here than just having that? And I said, well, it could be a love story. So this could be a first date, like a blind date gone wrong. And that's where the chorus came in. And I'm really happy with the results. It really turned out nice for me. And it seems to be doing well for us worldwide. So our worldwide market in the United States right now, rock music isn't as prevalent as other areas of the world, such as Spain and a couple places in Europe and a lot of places in Latin America and South America and Central America, where we're getting a lot of things, a lot of hits on our stuff. So we're definitely playing for our markets and going with that, hoping to go and do some touring, even if I can only afford to take a flight there and buy an acoustic when I get there and play acoustic. That's kind of the plan. We're just trying to get to that point.
Well, it's time to share your music, Dave.
Awesome.
Could you introduce your new one? Lost
All
in
right.
Translation.
Hi, I'm Dave Barnes from Tinfoil, and I'm here with Radio Caviar, and we're going to play Lost in Translation from Tinfoil, available on all streaming services. So check it out.
Yeah, ready in 3, 2, 1, go.
Never know what I said that was so wrong.
Yeah,
Wow,
amazing song,
amazing. It's
amazing
awesome.
video, a total sound experience. The sound of the guitar is wow, very interesting.
In
Thanks.
fact, it caught my attention when you combine different images from the past
Yes,
Yep.
with landscapes, even the dogs.
Yeah, it's lots of different
What's the
styles that we throw
message?
together. And the
What's the
video is really
message?
cool
Can you
because that's my
transmit?
my high school truck. I still drive it around, a 1966 truck. So it's got my dogs in the video and the live vid footage from Tinfoil from our TikTok and stuff. So it's all pretty much Tinfoil has always been kind of a homemade band that all works together to do stuff. So the video was self-produced and turned out really well.
wow.
So,
Congratulations for the single and the video. It's amazing,
there is a
amazing.
this feeling inside
Thank you. It means a
with
lot.
with the old energy of rock and roll. Yeah,
Yes, a new song of the century.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Now we talk about your goals for this year. Do you plan to go on tour, release new songs, or something else?
We've got lots of stuff. So yeah, we are a live band, so we play all the time, at least once a month. Right now, our next show is all going to be all acoustic. So our bass player Crystal is going to be on stand-up bass, and I'm playing classical guitar. Because we're donating our time to an event called Acoustics for Autism, where it's 90 bands that play on 7 different stages in downtown Toledo, or Maumee, which is a suburb of Toledo, and we raise money for local families that have autism in their family to help support them, because autism is one of the things in the United States that insurance doesn't cover totally. So these families need a lot of help. These students need a lot of help. And as a teacher, I teach some students that have autism in our schools, and it's just good to give that back. And then, like I mentioned before, in Detroit, we're opening up for Graham Bonnet of Rainbow. He was also in Impellitteri. He was in Michael Schenker Group. He was with Yngwie Malmsteen and Steve Vai. So I'm really excited with that.
Wow.
So that's coming up March 22nd in Detroit. We have a new single coming out, one of Cher's songs. So we have a female vocalist on the next song. That's the song called Bone Doll, about the book series. We have an album that's coming out, but our new record company out of France is talking to us, and they said we want to release all the songs as singles, like every so often, and then put the album out at the end, because that's more of a modern way of promoting it, and instead of having just the whole album and the songs get lost. And also, a lot of radio stations look at, if you take the album and release the album in 2022 and you send out a new single from that album, I've got some people saying, why are you sending me a year-old song as a single? It's like, well, this is the single. That's the way we used to do stuff. So the other thing we're thinking about doing is we're going to try and create a nice fan package. We're looking at Patreon, but we may look at something else. And maybe for a $5 or $10 thing, over our career, we've recorded cover songs, but you can't release cover songs without paying for the rights. So one of the things that we've talked about is we've got over 30 cover songs that are professionally recorded that we just love. We're going to pick a couple of them and release them outside, but let's do a Patreon, and then we'll release one of these cover songs inside the Patreon box, so we don't have to, they're not actually released, and give it to our fans so our fans can listen to them. We're also working on 2 book projects at the same time, actually. One is a biography of the band that I've been working on, and then the other is going to be a lyric. Since our lyrics are stories, we're going to put the lyrics and then tell the stories behind the song and do a lyric book, and we'll offer that in there. We've also got special merchandise that you'll get for it. So we haven't set this up yet. It's all in the planning, but we're planning on doing that in June. Trying to give the fans something that they would really get a lot out of, and not charging a whole lot of money for that. Obviously, we're like $10 or $5 a month, and then that will give us some money to be able to put into upgrading our recording studio, releasing stuff worldwide, doing promotion, and that type of stuff. Because right now we've toured forever, and we used to just tour, and that was how you broke a record. Now, not nobody's coming out to the tours in the United States anymore. So it's pretty much us playing to other bands or, 4 or 5 key fans. Internet is way better for promotion. So we're looking at that. Like our last show, we recorded the show live on the internet so that people that weren't from Detroit at that time could come out and see the show and see what we are like live. But we do like to play live as well. So we're going to continue playing live, no matter if there's only one person in the crowd, because that one person came to see us and we're going to play. So lots of combinations. We have a lot of stuff going on. We have a brand new drummer, so we're going to start recording. Like maybe one of our Patreon things would be like a practice. We'll throw a practice video on there of us practicing, rehearsing a new song, doing a behind the scenes. How do we write a song? How do we get it from a song idea to an actual finished product like what you guys heard? So we've got lots of plans. Who knows? If our single takes off, then we get more money, then we'd love to tour. But we're still working on building that up. It's a different world than it was even 5 years ago, as far as the way that you break music. So,
Oh yeah. And Dave, a personal question. How do you prepare mentally and emotionally before a live concert?
that's a good question. It really is, because there's different ways. One thing that I do prepare when we rehearse before the show, I try and mentally put myself in on the stage, because on the stage there's an adrenaline rush that does happen. Once I hit the first chord, usually that the fear stuff and all that goes away. But there is a little bit of, boy, what does the crowd look like? Are they our audience? That's the big one. Are they going to get into us? That type of stuff. You always got little things like that. It's like, so we always, talk to the other bands that are on the bill, go out and talk to the fans and say, have you heard of us? What type of thing? Here's what we're going to be doing. And then, like I said, once we get up on stage, there's always stuff that goes wrong. Last time my pedal board didn't work, so I had to plug straight into my amp. But as soon as it started, I wasn't worried about it at all. So that's that. Hopefully that answered your question.
Oh yeah, thanks.
And which artist would you like to invite to share on the stage in a jam session?
Who do I like to invite? Actually, we're doing
Yeah.
one of the things our record company is talking about is doing collaborations. So right
Yeah.
now I'm doing I'm really excited about this. I'm doing a collaboration with Mila Jackson. I met her in Salt Lake City 2 years ago, just at a bar where they had an open mic, and I got up and played guitar, and everybody's like, wow, and she got up and she sang a song, and everybody's like, wow, she's pretty good. So I kept in touch with her, and she was one of the finalists on The Voice in the Ukraine 10 years ago or 8 years ago, a few years ago. So she came from the Ukraine to the United States. She's no longer in Salt Lake City. She's in Florida, but we're doing a collaboration for her first EP. I don't know if I want to let the cat out of the bag, but we're collaborating on a cover song that is traditionally not a hard rock song, and we're turning in a classic 1970s funk song and turning it into a funk metal thing with her singing, because on The Voice she sang Highway to Hell by AC/DC. So she has that stuff on there. She's got it. I'm really excited. She's a very, very good singer. We're working on, we did a cover for our Patreon that's already done, where we did a cover of AC/DC's Long Way to the Top to Rock and Roll, and we brought in some real bagpipe player to play the bagpipe part, and we've got pictures and videos of that to go along. So we think that will be kind of interesting for our fans to see. It's kind of a good song because it's a long way to the top. That's the band, kind of, it goes along with what we're doing. So our covers are going to be songs that we're not going to go up there and do Freebird or something like that. We're going to do songs that mean stuff to us, although I do like Freebird. It is a good song, but it doesn't really fit in Tinfoil's thing. So the songs that we do are going to fit into our thing, or songs that we have done live in the past that we really liked. There's a old Mott the Hoople is a band from the 70s. Their first song was called Rock and Roll Queen. They're big for all the young dudes. We do a version of Rock and Roll Queen that we did when Mick Ronson died back in the 90s. I remember dedicating it to Mick Ronson. And when we started looking at this Patreon idea, it's like, well, let's bring that song back because that was really cool. We just got to see L7. I got to see L7 for the first time last year in Detroit. They did a reunion tour. We did Pretend We're Dead when it came out. So it's like, yes, we'll do Pretend We're Dead, and we're doing our own version of it. So we're doing cool stuff. Just trying to get attention like everybody else. There's so much music out there. I think we have some good stuff to share, and we're just trying to find the right avenue to share it and get it to the most amount of people as possible.
Okay,
So
Eric,
stay tuned.
the last 5 minutes, the message.
Okay.
Yeah.
From your point of view, what is
Okay.
your opinion about the current music scene?
Well, the music scene's very interesting right now. I have a lot of our fans, a lot of my just friends and stuff in the United States are sitting there going, wow, there's not any new good music out. We only listen to stuff that came out 10 years ago or something along that lines. But I don't agree with that. I actively go out and seek new music. I always look for good new guitar players. So Rabia came to town, and was not familiar with him, but I knew that he was a good guitar player. So I went and saw him and was blown away by him. So I popped him on my playlist and on Spotify. I drive now an hour a day, a half hour to work and a half hour back. So I hit the brand new Spotify playlist of what's out right now. Where a lot of people get stuck in the same thing where they start sounding the same all the time. I'm always looking for new people. I'm really excited about Nita Strauss's new solo album and career. So the Hailstorm is out. I've seen them a couple times. Just an amazing band. In This Moment's done some great things. So I continue to go out there and see new stuff. And when I go to a show, my friends are always laughing at me because I'm different than everybody else that goes to a show. They go to the show and they drink beer and they have a good time and take pictures with their friends. I'm stuck right there and looking at what's that guitar playing? What's that amp that they're using? How do they do that sound? How did that guitar player go along with that keyboard player? So for me, it's like going to school when I go to a concert. I saw Pantera for the first time in December. They opened for Metallica in Detroit. It was like, wow, it's a new band that I've never seen before. I'm sitting there watching, okay, what's Zakk Wylde doing on this? Of course, it's the reformed Pantera. Unfortunately, the event happened. It's a kind of an interesting story. Tinfoil had a show at the Alrosa Villa the night after Dimebag got shot down there. And of course, the show got canceled because of what had happened. So that kind of hits into our band history. But it is, I just saw Glenn Hughes. He's doing the Burn 50th anniversary. He had a couple openers, which was Enough's Enough. I hadn't seen them before. That was really interesting. And then Tesla's guitar player that's no longer with Tesla had a new band. And that was kind of cool to check out and just see what they're doing and that type of thing. So I think that's what keeps Tinfoil kind of fresh. And also the fact that the members of Tinfoil don't listen to the same music. So, I mean, Cher's not going to go to the same concerts that I do. She likes totally different music. And that's what I like because she brings a totally different, something off the wall for me. It's like, hey, let's do a 5/4 samba medley. Like, what? And then,
Right.
What makes it interesting then is okay, we're doing this. How can I fit in? How can I make this something that I would listen to on the radio while still maintaining the song that goes like that? So like Cher, I said, was into more alternative music, and that our drummer now is a real heavy drummer. His name's Jeff Lindley. I really like his playing, but he's into King Diamond and that type of stuff, which the rest of the band, I don't mind King Diamond, but they're not my big thing, Tool and that type of stuff. Our bass player's into punk, and she's also a DJ during the day or during her other career. So she does goth industrial music. So we throw all of those things into a band mix, and we're not going to sound just like Metallica because we got four people, that totally sound different. So it makes us fresh, and that's what makes it exciting for me. I'm always looking for new sounds, new things to add into, new topics to do songs on. It's a lot of fun. It keeps me going.
Yeah. The end.
Yeah. And to conclude, would you mind to send a message to the audience that is watching you right now?
What for the audience of Radio Caviar? Yes, thanks for checking out Tinfoil, giving us a chance. Keep going, supporting places like Radio Caviar, who are supporting local artists, or supporting unsigned artists, because not really local, but worldwide artists that you're not going to discover on just the the regular stuff. Places like Radio Caviar are a great place to check out new music and reach out to bands at the level that I'm at, because we'll answer your emails. We'll be happy to talk music with you. Where some of the big stars, you know, Dua Lipa is not going to answer your email, but I tried. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So keep checking it out.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
And
much,
that's all.
David. And that's all. It's a pleasure talking to you. And